To another edition of XFeed. What's up? My name is Schiller. We're going to be talking about some massive prize tournaments that have happened in the past. The fact that we're starting to see some inclinations of that coming back. A little bit of a story about the oddities of NFTs and people owning one to then have it sold, and then the community trying to fight back to get it there, back to the individual, but then other people are wanting to support the new person that got it, and then it's a really weird situation. Anywho, let's get into it as per usual. Star New York Jets player rocks a Satoshi Nakamoto shirt live on ESPN. Is this the equivalent of athletes taking their paycheck in Bitcoin? No, it is not. However, very interesting to see nonetheless. Made a little graphic yesterday just to highlight how crazy things are. So here's multiple headlines. Some of them are from a few weeks ago. Some of them are from like literally yesterday. So Canadian fintech Mongo's $50 million Bitcoin reserve plan ignites a 140% share surge at market opening. And then next to that over here on the right, I guess you should just buy any stock that says they will do a crypto reserve until it stops working. Bitmine Immersion Technologies, they say they're going to do an ETH reserve. Stock's up almost 3,000%. As we highlighted on stream a couple days ago, lucrative cash out of Solana tokens propels G2 Esports to historic 2024 profits. Justin, U.S. Director of Digital Assets, says we want as much Bitcoin as we can possibly accumulate. South Korean media firm to raise $500 million for Bitcoin treasury. You can't see it because my face is in the way. Norwegian crypto platform spikes 138% on Bitcoin treasury plan. And then over on the bottom right, Dennis Porter saying Bhutan is building a crypto region. A new city called Guelphu Mindfulness City will have crypto payments, Bitcoin mining, and strategic reserves. They're even making their own token. The city will connect Bhutan to the world. Bhutan is going all in on the crypto experiment. So, I mean, if you want to just like simply look at the headlines and be like, all right, is this bullish or bearish? Well, is what it is. Now, to give it a personal touch, there was a conference in Toronto a couple years ago that I went to. And they had people that were trying to attract individuals to move there, saying our taxes are better, you can move your family here for X, Y, and Z reason. Back in 2021, there was a lot of people talking about Portugal. I think they changed their crypto tax laws a little bit. But when do we start seeing that bigger push? Where everybody's just saying, oh, yo, you got crypto, come here. Yo, come on over, baby. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen quick. This alien node monkey sold for 1.29 Bitcoin overnight, 141,000 or 47 times the current floor of node monkeys. Remember, you might think you have a little bit of cash. Somebody's always got significantly more, but we keep seeing these higher price sales of collections. Does that mean something is coming, or is there just single people that are very bullish on something? What a terrible day for gaming. This isn't Web3 related, but I guess broadly for the gaming world. Microsoft laid off 9,000 plus people. Multiple studios shut down. Multiple projects canceled. Halo Studios issues. Battlefield 6 issues. Subnautica 2 issues. The AAA industry bloated bubble is bursting. This image has become a complete joke, man. You know, we can make the argument and compare, all right, well, you have all of these massive names within the industry that are highlighting, you know, the quality that's behind it. And it's sort of the same thing with Web3 where, all right, you have a whole bunch of names, but you never know when something can go completely sideways on that front. Yo, I cannot see who's in the chat. Yo, Ben Stapley, what's going on? How are we? The sun glare was too much. I had to throw it on the screen. How we doing? Good to see you. So that's tough on the gaming front. And then we look at Web3 and we're like, all the people trying to do gaming there. Oh my goodness. We'll see what happens. Also, not on the news today, but I did see that the Loopify game, Shreevers, they're having their end token that was supposed to happen today, but then they said that it was going to get delayed a little bit, but they're still hoping that it happens today. So we're seeing more and more people do their TGE this month. SoRare, the game where you can play fantasy sports in a way. New season, bigger rewards. SoRare 26 kicks off with record-breaking prize pools. Yes, bigger than last season, more ways to play, more ways to win, and that's just the start. So we go in this back and forth of saying, all right, well, we want experiences and applications that are fun to use within Web3, but also, it's about the money. And if there's not big prize pools or some kind of return on playing, I don't care about it, right? Those are kind of the two things that people are hemming and hawing between the two. So I thought I would bring up some points around two specific trading card games, Web3 games. If you remember back when Parallel, they had their $250,000 championship in Las Vegas. It was streamed on Twitch. They had a whole bunch of streamers for it. They got a lot of individuals and a lot of notoriety around it. I feel like it's not been as present. I remember on stream too, we used to talk quite often about their AI world that they were building, Colony. But we haven't really seen that on the timeline at all, which is a little bit odd. And then for Vibes, if you remember the TCG game that's using the Pudgy Penguins branding, they did the $20,000 Championship of the Americas at the Star City Games Hartford tournament. And again, $250,000, $20,000. Those are pretty massive for trading card games, just simply to begin with. When are we going to have Passion back in the space? Ben Stapley's here early. You're here early, or you're watching later. But Chef is up at 3 a.m. to catch a weekly space. And we've seen this with various individuals from various platforms. But I feel like we're definitely missing the eagerness, the desire, the having something to look forward to at 4 a.m. that you're actually excited to wake up and be dreadful for. Bring that back. Yo, Tribe Called Rex, how we doing? There's a scam going around that seems to be mainly targeting crypto Twitter accounts. We've talked about this. If you've been watching the stream, we highlighted when Melina, girl in the verse, had this happen to her, and they started spamming a whole bunch of fake token tickers, and it just says, your account's been flagged for a content issue. Don't ever click this stuff. You're smarter than that, but just as a simple reminder, nobody wants to talk to you respectfully. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna reach out and say, hey, you know what, we have this a bajillion-dollar job opportunity that's great. Hey, your accounts are compromised on every platform. You've got some beneficiary claim. None of that shit ever happens. Just realize it's all scams. You got to be proven by somebody that is true. Just by default, think that it's a scam. Save you a lot. This is buddy, this is a crazy post to go over. So 20 months ago, the top two wallets of Blur Season 2 got an airdrop of $10 million plus each. If you don't know, Blur is a marketplace similar to OpenSea. You're able to transact on NFTs, and at a point, a lot of people were just simply wash trading, in a way, their NFTs to try to farm getting these Blur points, knowing that an airdrop would happen. And of course, again, they obviously didn't spend $10 million, but they got that. So, kudos to them, but that's a lot. Yesterday, the entire value of Blur Season 4 airdrop across all 150,000 wallets that qualified was $1 million. Yo, there's so many things that have a fall from grace, and it is so hard for me when there's something new and exciting that comes out that goes up in price. The community vibes seem great, whatever, to just not immediately think of situations like this. And man, there's so many things when it's the top of the world, and then almost everything seems to have a major fall off. And we could argue, all right, that seemed to be almost everything within the space back in 2021. But we definitely thought there would be certain winners, and I feel the majority of people thought, hey, you know what, Blur's good. They're doing this Blast thing. Once they went over to Blast, I feel like things got a little bit shaky. But I enjoyed using Blur, ignoring the fact that it totally tanked a lot of the NFT prices with the royalties and everything else. Yesterday on stream, I made a comment about how I think a lot of people just simply aren't touching their NFTs from before. A lot of people are completely checked out. We got proof of that. For the Pudgy Penguin holders, there's 307 that have unclaimed Lil Pudgy Penguins. Now, what's interesting, though, is it's number 5, number 6, number 11. So is that a team wallet for, obviously not the full 300, but I wonder if those ones specifically are part of the team, and so they just probably won't get claimed unless the team realizes and goes out to do that. Robbie Ferguson from IMX. How do you think consumers will choose which stablecoin to use? As we've seen, this is the hottest narrative in 2025. They'll use whatever stablecoin wallet plus more is set up for them as default when they onboard. Whoever onboards them has control, and games will onboard more users than every other narrative combined. And then the article the links to the post with this is stablecoin startups surpass 2021 venture capital peak as institutional money pours in. And so to go back to the post that I had a little bit earlier, this one here, think about it. Stablecoins, the institutions, all of that, right? The numbers are insane. But this right here proves that this cycle is genuinely about the institutions. They're the ones with money. These companies are coming up with strategic reserves. It's not the same as when just the average folk was getting on chain and it was very, very limited amounts of things that you could get into at the time. Now it's mass explosions and everything's so saturated. It's so saturated. But this graphic right here is why we can say this whole cycle seems to 100% run by institutions. Have you ever seen a pitching mound get taken out of the ground from MLB? I didn't know these things were like a Kit Kat Chunky XL. Like, look at that. That is insane. I thought they might have been like slightly in the ground, whatever. I didn't realize it was a friggin' brick. Bulls on the block. Funny enough, we highlighted them the other day amongst the Floyd Mayweather video that Matty B posted. We might suck at posting about bulls on the block, but we absolutely don't suck at building. The divot starts tomorrow, July 4th for the bulls. Unless those bulls if you want in. Full rules coming soon. First payout in a month. What? I don't even understand what the hell this is, and they're saying there's going to be a payout in a month. So bulls on the block, holy geez, excuse me, was a collection that came out and really was a part of the run of NFTs, early stage, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Gutter Cat Gang, Doodles, Bulls on the Block. Bulls on the Block was a part of that, right? There's a world where this could have been the likes of some of the other ones that have really stuck around, but it's kind of fallen off a little bit, but it seems like they're still going here. We've brought back the OG Rui and has created Buckaroos on the Block, a new collection that will live and play inside the Bulls on the Block verse. We talked about the Rui artist before, too. If you missed that stream, it was a banger one. Make sure to check out all the ones from the past week. Bulls on the Block will also be added to the first on-chain collections. More on that soon. We've also been cooking up new ways for holders to monetize their IP. If you own a bull, you're going to want to keep your horns polished. Watch this space. We're getting the moving. All right. Okay. I hate the term watch the space. Absolutely red card. You're suspended for a week. Get out of here. But interesting to see the Bulls on the Block is doing stuff. Curious to see what it is. And Doodles from back in the day. They're still doing stuff. They decided to partner with MetaMask to create a scent. We transformed a 278-year-old Parisian parfumerie into an immersive scent lab where guests created custom blends inspired by our color palette and characters. I don't know why. Thinking way back in elementary school, it was like a show and tell or something that we had to do. And my mom helped me get like these scents from around the globe, and it went off really, really well. And this is making me think of that. I don't know if any of them were 278 years old, but I mean, listen, I go to the store, you buy deodorant, your scents, whatever. I mean, sure, I'd buy a Web3 brand if they did that. Why not? But, all right, kind of cool. How do we get this? Or is this like an experience for some people and that was like a one-off? Is that it? Okay, so this is the thing that I started and try to like hype up just a wee little bit before we started the stream. So there is an individual named Carson, and they were one of the early people within Bored Ape Yacht Club. There's a lot of people that have created names, personalities, whatever. They took out a loan on the ape, and I guess that it got liquidated at some point, maybe with the fact that Bored Apes really took a turn. But I feel like they probably did it before ETH like went absolutely crazy. But here's the thing. So this individual, Zero the Hero, is ecstatic about this, right? Because they don't realize that this is some ape that's owned by some other person. And like, I found Web3 in late 2021, and from day one, Bored Ape Yacht Club has always been the gold standard. I'm mega bullish on creeps, and my conviction is as strong as ever, but now it's time I check out the clubhouse. How'd I do? Thinking about taking my ape for a spin as a PFP. And then all the comments are like 50-50 of, woo, that's great, love it for you, buddy. And I think you should sell it back to Carson and get another. He does want it back, and although it's definitely a banger and it was totally fair game, you'd be a legend if you sold it back to him. Congratulations and welcome to the club. This ape belonged to a long-time OG, and if you'd be open to swapping for another ape, we'd love to help. And so it's just stuff like this that's kind of like, it feels bad. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that just simply feels bad, period. But that's the way that is with NFTs. You never know what's going to end up happening. So I wanted to bring up something as well that I think I reposted. It's not, yeah, it's a red card, buddy. True. Okay, so Matt Bartlett had a event at NASDAQ, and this was something that went like super mega viral. And trying to go because I think it's on his pinned post here. So this is, I'm going to play the clip so you can see what it is. This was with Pudgy Penguins. This got like insane virality. And then he did a video where he kind of explained the walkthrough of it. So this is kind of talking a little bit about TradFi and Web3.
Good morning and welcome. First and foremost, thank you to our friends and partners at NASDAQ for allowing us to have our Web3 takeover event here, celebrating the DApp ETF. It doesn't just make it special, it makes it unforgettable. At VanEck since 1955, we've been providing investors with access to forward-thinking and intelligently designed investments and opportunities. And we believe there's an opportunity now to build a bridge between two powerful forces, two rapidly evolving worlds, those being traditional finance and digital assets in Web3. In fact, right now, there are institutions of all sizes that are tokenizing all sorts of different RWAs or real-world assets, while at the same time, digital collectibles are turning culture into tangible brand value, and it's happening faster than any of us ever imagined. And so that's what this moment's about. It's not just a takeover, but a crossover. And so even beyond this historic setting and moment, our group will hear some powerful dialogue from both the head of digital assets research at VanEck, as well as from the CEO of Pudgy Penguins, where together we'll explore the broad spectrum of digital ownership and RWA. So on behalf of VanEck, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for being here. Let's have a great morning.
I've also realized that I don't have my audio on, so I didn't hear like a single bit.
Have asked me what last week's event at NASDAQ was really like, what actually went down behind all the love it got on socials. So here's the inside scoop.
And we believe there's an opportunity now to build a bridge between two powerful forces, two rapidly evolving worlds, those being traditional finance and digital assets in Web3.
Leading up to it, I had a strong feeling this could be the event of the week heading into the broader conference circuit of NFT, NYC, and permissionless, and honestly, it delivered. So what was it really about? As head of Web3, one of my core goals is to bridge traditional finance with Web3 and vice versa. That means creating spaces where leaders from both sides can meet and ideally not argue about things like regulation, gas fees, or whether our JPEGs are art. Some of you saw my keynote about building that bridge. It was filmed in the same studio where they shoot Market Watch and Squawk Box. I'm a longtime fan of those shows, so giving a keynote there was surreal. And yes, it's true. TV ads, 10 pounds. So now that I'm home, I'm on a strict diet. One of the things that makes NASDAQ magical is the way their host runs the show. They escort your entire group through different rooms and experiences. It honestly felt like being in line for a Disney ride. At every step, you're wondering, what's next? After the bell ceremony, they took us outside to see our photos, shoot more video, and really take in the moment. When we returned, we hosted our own private event upstairs. The room was packed. We had Web3 founders and teams, of course, from Pudgy Penguins, Solana, Baxis, Abstract, Orange Cap Games, Dilly, Orbital Beam, you name it. On the TradFi side, we had clients from Bank of America, MasterCard, UBS, and others. In other words, half the room was wondering what GM meant, and the other half was wondering what a bond yield is. While the bell ringing ceremony is what got shared on socials, the real value came from networking and the cross-pollination that happened behind the scenes. Matt Siegel, our head of digital assets research, gave VanEck's perspective on the RWA opportunity, and Luca from Pudgy Penguins gave a fantastic talk from their side of the spectrum. Some of the TradFi folks have actually never even heard of Pudgy Penguins, so it became a powerful intro to what I would argue is the most important IP in Web3 today. Everyone who attended got a physical adventure bag from Segment, and inside was probably the best collectible of all, a Success Penguin promo card featuring VanEck's intern persona from Orange Cap Games. And of course we added some Web3 magic. Every segment adventurer NFT holder got a digital version of the bag, and select attendees or community members with a certain role were also airdropped the mystical satchel of our NFT collection, which will give them claim to a physical version later in Q3. So if you're holding this NFT, resist the urge to sell. This might be the first bag that actually delivers. Now, a week later, Pudgy Penguins is on fire. VanX Digital Assets team is getting tons of love, and even my own X feed has been buzzing. So thank you so much for that. My honest takeaway, we're seeing two strong leaders in digital assets, each within their own lane, driving the kind of narratives that grow the space forward for us all.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yo, Tribe Called Rex, it played all right. Love to see it. Love to see it. But listen, we talk about the institutions. We see stuff directly like that of talking about how people are looking to tokenize assets. We do the RWA Segments podcast where we talk about all of that. And again, this past week was a huge conversation with somebody that started at a super young age and realized, this crypto thing, it's going to take off, and have dedicated their life to it. And you see most people within the space right now. Why the hell are we doing the stream for as long as we have, right? Because we think things are going to get shaken up, and it's going to happen here. I appreciate you guys coming on through. I hope you enjoyed this edition of XFeed. If you're American, happy 4th of July, and I will catch you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Talk soon. Peace.